So, hi guys, today I'll be sharing you my IIM CAP interview experiences. So, let me start with a small introduction of mine. So, I'm a GEM candidate currently in my final year of BTech. My profile is 997 and my CAT percentile is 98.49. So, apart from CAP, I have several other calls as well. So, I had my CAP interview on 6th of March in the forenoon session in Lucknow at Hotel Collections. So as soon as I went there and reported at around 8 a.m. So all of us were made to sit in a waiting room, which was kind of a conference hall, and they had basically assigned you certain palette numbers and the sequence numbers accordingly. So these were quite random, like no fixed criteria for that, and we were made to sit accordingly in the waiting room. So the first thing that they did was they started with the document verification. So talking about particularly me, so mine was panel number 2 and serial number second. So I got done with my document verification quite early, and after around 30 minutes 30 to 40 minutes, they were still continuing with the document verification procedure. But then they said that first of all, they'll conduct the VAT procedure and then they'll continue with the document verification and all. So basically, then we were all were asked to keep aside our phones, and we could only carry up pen, nothing else, like writing pad and all, like nothing was allowed over there. So the first thing that we received as instructions was that in the sheet that which will be provided to us, we cannot write bullet points in it. Like those should the answer should be in form of proper paragraphs. You cannot write it in form of bullet points. And as you already know that the time for VAT is 20 minutes. Like one tip that I would like to give you is that do carry a watch, because there is no clock in that room. So the only thing that you can get to know about time is when that particular invigilator will tell, okay, like 5 minutes are left. So to avoid getting stuck in certain kind of conditions, do carry a watch with yourself. So talking about the VAT topic, so my VAT topic was deep sea and space tourism. What are the challenges and opportunities lies within these fields? So first of all, looking at this particular topic, because I was going through the topics which were earlier asked in the different vats. So this was quite a new topic, because mostly the VAT topics revolved around AI related stuff, or what is the impact of globalization and all. So this was quite a new VAT topic. But although I had certain knowledge and developments about what is happening in this particular industries, so what approach I did follow there is basically the star method, which is told that this is the basic standard which one should follow while writing these essay, and the most important thing is to come to a conclusion. So I started with giving an overview about how the landscape of this particular industry is evolving, and what are the challenges and certain kind of incidences that had occurred. Recently there was an accident of the Titan submarine at Ocean Gate. So safety is a major concern in this industry. So I told about them. Then what are the key opportunities that lies within this field, because this is particularly a new field. So for players, it is easier to capture and seize the market right now. So these were the good points. And then I concluded that although this is a particularly new industry, but we need to keep check on security norms and various kind of regulations, and make this a level playing field for all of the players, so that this we can foster a good culture in this particular industry. So after this, we had completed our VAT. 20 minutes were provided only. So after they took away our sheets, and then immediately after that they resumed the PI process, and for the candidates whose document verification was not conducted, because for my case, I was serial number 2 in panel 1, so I was done with my document verification. But for the candidates whose document verification was not completed yet, so they went for document verification, and rest of the candidates were move to the personal interview section. So basically, the panels were divided into small rooms in the hotel itself, and two panelists were there. So in Lucknow, during my time, there were three different panels, and mine was panel 1, serial number 2. So after 10 to 15 minutes, my VAT got over, so I was called for my PI interview. So as soon as I entered, so like in my panel consist of a male professor and a female professor. The male professor was in his early 30s, and the female must be in like late 30s and all. So they both asked, like I greeted them first of all, and they both asked me to sit down. So the female panelist just like she gave a glimpse through my documents, and she asked me that Aditya introduce yourself. So I gave that prepared introduction that like I had practiced many times. So in the last there everyone tells about his or her hobbies. So I had mentioned that I like playing video games and volunteering with NGOs. So like as soon as I finished with my introduction, so the main panelist, so like he was quite curious after listening about like that I told him that I like to volunteer with NGOs. So he asked me like, Aditya, like what are the kind of NGOs that you have worked with? So like this was a question that I wasn't expecting, because in most of the interviews that I have already given, they don't pay much attention to these things. So but I was quite happy that he asked this question. So I explained him briefly about what are the different NGOs that I have been working with. So like he was quite happy to hear about that. Then he asked me like, tell me a particular incident while we were working in an NGO where you had to collaborate with a team and like lead an initiative. So I also told about him that okay, like there was an instant where I had to handle a stuff in the NGO, so like I got done through that. And while I was giving this answer, I told him about a facial detection attendance system. This was the thing that I mentioned in my answer. So as soon as I finished that answer of mine, he asked me, okay, Aditya, now tell me what is the underlying architecture of a face detection system. So that was quite a technical portion. So I explained him step by step, like, okay, this is the front end, and then we have to store the data in back end, and then this is how like every time we have to detect the face of that particular person, like basically retina scanning and facial features and all. Like I have noted all the questions. So apart from that, after this question got over, yeah, so then he asked me, okay, what is sigmoid function? So this was particularly a thing that I wasn't aware about, because sigmoid function is taught us in like in our first year of our BTech. So I told him, said that I'm not aware about it, but I'll definitely look into it and have a look that why it is used for. So he gave a smile and I said no problem. Now tell me, what is LLM? So I told him LLM stands for large language model, and like I briefly explained him. And then he told me, okay, Aditya, like you're from a technical background, so explain me this thing. Like yesterday I was surfing like going through chat GPT. So when I asked him questions related to current like dynamic GK, so it wasn't able to answer them properly. But at the same time, when he asked him to do stuff like write emails and like make a blog or something, that kind of thing, so that it was excelling in that field. So why there is such kind of disparity for the same platform? So then like I was aware about that, what is the underlying architecture of chat gpt and why this problem is occurring. So I explained him. So he was quite happy, and like he got convinced about my answer. And then he switched to like apart from technical, so he started now ask me something different to you, like tell me what is currency. So I told him like what the basic purpose of currency. Like before, we used to have barter system, which didn't give us a free and fair medium of exchange. So currency solved this problem. Then he said, okay, like who handles rupees in India? So I told him that RBI is the governing body and handles all the monetary policy of a country. So he said, okay, now tell me who is the governor, current governor of RBI. So I told him, because these were the things that I already marked up. So after I told him the name of current RBI, so he told me, okay, now tell me who was the former governor of RBI, who is also the principal secretary right now. So like he gave me a hint, because it is all over the news that Mr. Shaktikant Das has been appointed as the principal secretary to the PM. So I answered this. So that was then. So he said, okay, that's it from my side. Good, Aditya. And then like he asked ma'am to ask me certain questions. So like ma'am also started with like a same kind of question, like, okay, Aditya, tell me about like in my form I had mentioned that I had various position of responsibilities. So she asked me like what kind of initiatives and what kind of managerial experiences do you have. So I told her about that. So this is how it went. And then after that, she asked me, suppose that the temperature of this room is 24 degrees Celsius. Now how would you convert it to Fahrenheit? So this was also something that I wasn't aware about, because like conversion of like Celsius to Fahrenheit is taught to us in like 11th class, so I didn't have idea about it. So she said, okay, no problem, tell me what is microprocessor. So microprocessor was something that I had an idea about, so I told her everything, that what is microprocessor, what are its uses. And then like while I was telling my answer, so like you can see that I'm wearing like certain kind of rings in my hands. So she like gave a smile and asked me like, Aditya, why are you wearing like so many rings, and like what are the purpose, and what is the like name of the stones that you're wearing. So I briefly told about that. Okay, because I already anticipated that this could be asked in my interview, so I already looked at what are the names of these stones. I told about her about that. So she asked me like, do you believe in astrology? So I said that I don't believe in astrology. My mother believes in, and like she has asked me to like wear these. So like she said, okay, no problem. And then after that, like that was then she asked a weird question, like because this is something that is not quite often asked. She asked me that, suppose you have to write a biography on on an equipment that is used in kitchen. So like I have to tell answer about that. Yeah, so like tell me equipment that is used in kitchen, and you have to write a biography on that. So I thought for a while, and then I replied that I would choose a roller that is used for making chapatis and all. So she asked like, why would you do that? So I said, ma'am, that in North India, like chapatis are the staple diet of everyone. So like roller is one thing that is used in all the three meals. Like in breakfast, people have parathas, and in lunch and dinner, like everyone has chapatis and roti. So this is one thing that is used for sure. And apart from that, like I gave a smile that it can be used for different purposes also, like a self-defense weapon and all. So like she was quite happy, and like she was laughing at that answer. And then she switched to certain kind of other questions. So like when you go for your interview, so your the VAT sheet that you had earlier submitted, so that is handed over to the panel. So like while one of the panelists is asking question, the other one is going through the VAT document that you had submitted. So like meanwhile, so she was looking at that document as well, and then she like gave it to me, and over that sheet, all the IMs which fall under the cap category, their name and logo was displayed. So she asked me, okay, now tell me in which part of these particular IMs, in which city like both IM and IITs are situated. So like I was aware about that, because in Jammu we both have both IITs and IMs. So I replied to her. So like she said, okay, now tell me which is the particular IIM whose name is mentioned as a district, but it is not in a like the name of a IIM is not situated in a district. So like I also answered that question. Apart from that, then she asked me like, now tell me what would be your first preference, or what's your favorite IIM out of these cap IIMs. So I replied her that, ma'am, out of these, IIM Udaipur would be my first preference. So she asked me like, why would you say that? So I said, ma'am, first of all, IIM Udaipur has a very strong legacy, and like its students are performing extremely exceptional at various national level competitions. And location wise also, Udaipur is a very nice place to be in. So she asked me, okay, Udaipur is in Rajasthan, no? I said, yes, ma'am. So she said like, tell me the neighboring states or the border states of Rajasthan. So I told her about that as well. So like she was almost done at this particular time, and like all over my interview, like I was receiving compliments like, okay, this is a good answer. And at last she asked me like, okay, Aditya, last question from my side, tell me why should we select you. So this was the answer that most of us gets already prepared with. So I told her with a proper answer for that, and like both of the panelists were like looking quite convinced with my answer. So that was my interview. After that, this question they asked me, okay, Aditya, it's that was nice talking to you. And like they asked me that now you can leave now. So that's it, that was my interview. And like if I had to rate my interview out of 10, then I would say that it was somewhere around 8.5 to 9, because almost all the questions I was able to answer. And the most important thing that I felt today is that the interview was quite engaging from both the sides. Like the panelists were eager to listen to what I am saying, and like they were taking interest. Like in some of my past interviews, like there was seen that they're just asking for the sake of asking that particular question, and there was no interest from that side. But this was kind of a like light-hearted conversation. Like for me, after 3 to 4 minutes, it didn't feel like an interview. Like it was like a normal conversation that I'm having with my senior, or like some relative of mine. So that was a very good thing, like if you're able to break ice with the panelist. So that's all my experience. Thank you guys.